If we bet on Sam Houston State today, whether it wins the squad round or not, but if we bet on Sam Houston State today and they don't cover and they don't win, I will buy a Sam Houston State jersey and wear it for a week on stream, looking like a fucking idiot. Yeah, he's a moose shit coach. He's a terrible coach. Get Ron Rivera out of here. I'm not even saying to hand the keys over to Behenemy yet. All I'm saying is this is not our head coach. This is not a winner. This is not our guy. Listen up. All right, take a little mental screenshot of this one. Boop. Give me the Ravens laying 3. Come on. It's got to be Baltimore must play here. They're winning this game big. It's going to be an under game. They're going to be running the shit out of the ball. And they're going to win this game by 5+, maybe 10+. I mean, if you have to listen to Jameis Winston for advice on the sidelines during a game, that's probably when you got to hang him up and maybe go with a different game plan here, Javon, because if he's seeing something that Derek Carr and the coach aren't, that's an issue to me.
That's just Jimmy Butler activities now. I just don't know if I can click a square and just say, you know what? I'm going to go to the grave with Jimmy Butler today when I see that cut, that profile.
I'm watching them rock, damn. Brand new bag for pro, but I didn't pay for it. I don't like spending that cash because I'm trying to savor it.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Wednesday, episode 344 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your hosts, Krabs. Javon is en route. He's in the lab for some NFL squares. You guys know we're absolutely grinding to find some NFL plays for this Sunday, and we've got that entry due in a couple hours. So Javon's going to be joining us for the second half of BTL today, around 1:30 p.m. Eastern. He's going to join us. We're going to get our guy Jim Root on here in a couple minutes, though. W's chat. One of the sharpest college basketball minds out there on the planet. Literally one of the sharpest guys I've ever talked to. He's a legitimate college basketball analyst. This guy's a beast for three-man weave. I'm excited to get him on here like we had him here last year to talk some college basketball and talk some SEC action, okay? We're going to get him on here in a couple. And yes, chats, I need to figure out that Sam Houston jersey. I promise you, I will order the jersey this week. I'll probably do it on BTL this week. We're just swamped right now with this Prize Picks comp. So after that, tomorrow or Friday on BTL, I will order the jersey on here. You have my words. Always. You guys know I got you. We got McChicky Nug Nugs coming in hot with a sub bang. Love to see it. We got Ron Lux Clam, Death Taxes, and Ron Lux Clam coming in hot with a subby, folks. We got a nice little hype train rolling for the people. And we got young Sean Dawn coming in hot with a subby as well. Love to see it, folks. Love to see it. We talking Jim Root? Yeah, we are talking to Jim Root today. Really excited to get him on. He'll be in here in a couple minutes. All right. I think we've got him for about 20. Okay. W's chats. Let's go ahead and dive in. I mean, we've got sub bangs galore and hype trains left and right, Chad. This is crazy. Hype train level 1 achieved. W's. Love to see it. We've got college football on today as well. I don't want to dive into that until we get Javon back on here. A couple crummy college football games. We got BSU and Bowling Green. We got KSU and UA tonight as well. We got the World Series Game 5 we need to talk about. But we'll go over that when Javon hops on. I want to do some CBB talk with Jim Root when he gets on here in a couple. As we get a 2U sub-bang geyser from Token Picks. Let's go, Tokens Picks. W's. Love to see it. Crab's wearing the jersey with the video running a jet sweep might be all time. Yeah, dig that. It's coming. I promise you. I'm going to cop it. It is what it is. I'm not happy about it, but I do need to find a customized Sam Houston State football jersey because I keep fading them and they stink. And yeah, who's ready for some Crabs college basketball plays? I know I am. I think we're only about 5 days out. Absolutely stoked for this college basketball season, guys. It's coming. It's going to be here next week before you know it. It creeps up on you. Okay, don't sleep. All right, chat. I'm excited to start talking some SEC CBB with our guy Jim Roots. We had him on here last year, spitting some knowledge, giving the people some winners, giving the people some sharp angles for the college basketball season before it starts. We're lucky enough to get him on here as well this year before the season starts up next week, chat. Can we get some W's going for my guy Jim Roots? You're not going to find many Mizzou fans more locked in than my guy Jim, and I'm really excited to talk about Mizzou as well with him. Let's bring him up here. What's up, Jim?
What's going on,
What's
Krabs?
up, my man? How we doing?
Good. I'm good. Season's around the corner. I feel like college basketball's got the longest off season. I don't know if that's objectively true or not, but it feels like it to me. So now that we're actually starting to talk about real matchups, games coming up, I've had enough of the theoretical preseason rankings and back and forth on whether a team's going to be good or not. Let's get some evidence. Let's get some actual games and outcomes to go off of. Then we can start having some real debates. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
let me ask you, Jim, because all the talk right now in the CBB world, and there's not too much of it yet as we're still, I think, 5 days out from CBB. It's these scrimmages, right? It's these secret, scrimmages that these teams are hosting where they don't want, I don't know why they don't release it, but it's really hard to find, what happens in these games. But, every day now you see a tweet coming out where this team lost to a D2 school or this team barely snuck out a win here. Do you care about that stuff? Or is that almost just like NFL preseason where you really just don't give a hoot?
It's weirdly a case-by-case basis. And maybe it's sort of a part where it's a little confirmation bias. Like if I think Louisville's going to be bad and they lose to a D2 team, then suddenly I'm like, all right, I knew it. Look how bad they are once again compared to last year. and it helps with some of these where if you get a full box score and you can see if there was aberrational shooting or something, or like Louisville and the Tennessee Michigan State one and Illinois Kansas, where you actually get to watch and get some eye test on it and see how the team actually meshes together, what kind of shots they're getting, et cetera, et cetera. When it's the true secret stuff and the team is missing a couple players and I don't really know how the game played out, it's harder to take anything too concrete from it. Like one example of that would be St. John's losing to Division II Pace, which that one certainly raised an eyebrow. I've got an internal bet with the three-man weave guys that I think St. John's is going to finish ahead of Villanova in the Big East standings. We'll see how that goes. But obviously that one was a bad result for that. But they were missing two starters, Jordan Dingle, Joel Soriano, RJ Luis might start when he's healthy. So they're missing three key guys in the rotation. We still shouldn't lose to a D2 team. But I trust Rick Pitino enough. Like, Rick Pitino losing to a D2 team is different than Kenny Payne because I've seen both those guys go different directions as actual head basketball coaches. So my conclusions are a little more alarm bells, panic button for Louisville than they are for St. John's at this point.
I am so excited to watch Jordan Dingle play in a real conference this year. We're going to find out how good this kid really is. He's been dominating the Ivy League the last couple seasons. Are you as high on him as I am? Do you think he's going to be leading this team? I mean, if you're making side bets with, St. John's being good this year, I'm assuming you're on the same page as me here.
Yeah, I'm just big time scorer. I think He's not that far off as a scorer from like Max Asmus, who's getting a ton of attention at Texas because he, did it on the bigger stage with Oral Roberts, had that run to the Sweet 16 back in 2021 and in the bubble tournament. Dingle hasn't quite had that big stage performance. And he does have a weird thing, Krabs, where he's like in and out of the lineup with injuries all the time. Like, let's just stay healthy, my guy. Let's stay on the court, Mr. Dingle. But he's super fun, like well-built, wide-shouldered guard that can score inside, out, with the ball in his hands or off the ball. And you put him with Dennis Jenkins, the guy that comes with Patino from Iona, is very familiar, very good passer, kind of a bigger guard, can take the actual defensive assignment that maybe Dingle is not quite as good at. I think St. John's got a very nice backcourt coming in, and then Soriano double machine up front. I'm drinking the Patino Kool-Aid. We'll see how that fares over the course of his first season in Queens.
I don't blame you one bit. I mean, I know it's not the same sport, not the exact same situation, but we've seen the success that Coach Prime has had in Colorado and just recruiting based off of his name. And I know it's not, the identical scenario, but it's kind of similar. I feel like you got big name Patino back on the big stage at a big name school, right? He's not going to Duke or UNC, but a little bit of a step up from Iona, I guess you could say, where he's been. You're high on this team. I mean, I don't see how they don't get the best transfers and recruits every year for the next couple seasons as they continue to build this program back up to where they should be, right?
Yeah. And I don't know exactly what their NIL situation is, but I imagine when you bring in Patino, the boosters start to line up outside the doors. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're lining up outside. Everyone who went to that school is lining up outside that door to donate. 100%.
Yeah, and they did pretty well in the portal this year. They got a top 40 recruit in Simeon Wilcher from the area that is like in the New York City area that they haven't really recruited that well in recent history. So you can see the momentum starting to turn for him. And I mean, to your comparison with Coach Prime, what he turned over like 70 scholarships at Colorado, something like that.
Yeah, the most we've ever seen. They had like a completely new team. It's like 80% of the guys. Wild.
Yeah, and St. John's, I think they brought back 2 scholarship guys from last year. So very, very similar. Like, let's turn this thing over, make this mine right away. Maybe he didn't quite show them the door the way that Coach Prime did, but something similar. I'm sure he gave him a nudge, like, you might not play here. We might not have a spot for you.
Take a seat over here, buddy. You're not going to grab the court the entire year. Why don't you go ahead and head out of here?
Yeah.
Yep.
But, I mean, ultimately, more big games at Madison Square Garden with St. John's and Patino taking over is just good for the sport, good to watch. More great games on Fox. The Big East had a bunch of great ones last year with the top of that conference, and add in St. John's, Patino, and I think it's going to be even more fun to watch this year.
I'm in. I'm with you. And we've seen how quickly these, coaches can really rebuild these programs now with the transfer portal and NIL being so big. It really speeds that stuff up. I was a doubter for Coach Prime. And at this point, I mean, I know they're not great, but I'm sure you see me getting tripped on Twitter at this point about fading the Colorado win total. But man, I don't see why, Rick Pitino can't go in there and this team can already be good right off the rip. We just saw a football team do it, which in my eyes is way harder to even do that and get those guys playing on the same page. So I'm in. I'm with you on Rick Pitino. I know you're a busy guy, Jim. I don't want to use up all your time here talking about that conference. I want to focus more on SEC. I feel like you're pretty tapped into the SEC. I know you're covering everything, but your school behind you, you got Mizzou. I mean, they took a big step up last season. You got to be pretty stoked about, where that program is heading. You want to talk about Mizzou for a second, gas them up a little bit? I want you to let me know where you think they're at right now.
Yeah, I'd love to. I turned 34 this off season. I think half their players are my age. That was like the big Mizzou approach this year, was get a bunch of experienced guys. Got a lot of grad transfers out of the portal, brought back 2 fifth-year guys from last year's team. And it's been a huge flip from their prior coach, Quanzo Martin, who was all about teaching life lessons and playing slow. And there's just like this grinding approach to it. And now they're up and down, shooting a ton of threes. They're probably one of the best 5 or 10 shooting teams in the country from beyond the arc this year with Honor, with Grill, Tamar Bates from Indiana. Like, I think they're going to really light it up from the perimeter. Now, they might not play defense again. That's the concern. They're one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the country last year. But I think it's going to be another team or another year where overs, it's going to be a lot of points scored, especially with maybe some of the new rules. And that's kind of a general discussion point we could have with the charge block changing, and maybe there's some uppity or up in the count in free throws early on as people get used to that. But yeah, Mizzou, big time up and down team that can really shoot. Not a great defensive squad, and I think maybe a little undervalued to start the year just based on the experience they have coming into the season.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you're a Dennis Gates guy. You got to be after what he did in year 1, right? It's 100%.
Yeah. We got a fan question recently, like, do you ever think about, Dennis Gates leaving for a better job? And I'm like, every day I wake up in a cold sweat, worried about him taking some bigger paycheck somewhere. And the way he turned around in 1 year, I hope he keeps it going. And I hope he decides to fall in love with Columbia, Missouri. Please do.
Caleb Grill joined the team. Very curious to see how he fits in there. He's a grinder. A guy I'm very high on who I think was there last year, though, too, Noah Carter, one of your forwards who transferred in. I like this kid. I'm forgetting where he transferred in from, but I remember him being an absolute beast down there in the paint. I think he's going to be good for you guys. Your team has a bunch of depth. You get Nick Honor, who's your glue guy, back this season, too. And like you said, a bunch of old dudes. That's only going to help this team down the stretch. They've got some experience now after a pretty decent year last season. And these guys are vets. They've been around the block, right? So that's the kind of team you want your coins on. Are you sprinkling a little bit on this team season right now?
I have a little like 500 to 1 to win the title. I think that's what it was 300 to 1. So I saw.
It's your school. You got to have some coins on your guys, right?
Right. Yeah. Last year I had 501. People called me crazy. And then, if they don't crap it away to Princeton in the second round, suddenly this is a Sweet 16 that I have, like I said, 500 to 1. So I don't think it's totally crazy, especially a team with good guard play, a good coach in the postseason. That's kind of the ingredients you need. So just get in the tournament and hopefully anything can happen with a long shot like that.
100%. And we're looking at some of the odds here for the SEC regular season championship. Jim, is there anybody you're eyeing here? Any teams that you think are going to be, run away with this in the regular season? Give me the plays. What do you got?
Yeah, I think Tennessee's justifiably the favorite. We saw them go at Michigan State without their two starting guards, Ziegler and Vescovy, and win. Just seems like they've got a little bit of an extra offensive gear. The team I like at these odds is Arkansas. I think 8 to 1 is pretty darn solid, considering this is a much more veteran team than Musselman had last year. Typically, he's started pretty strong and then always swooned in like late December, early January. Kind of gets the guys' attention, and they figure it out and are better down the stretch in SEC play, which wouldn't be good enough to win the league if that's the case. But this year, they're a little like Mizzou. They've got a lot more experience than they did last season. They played Anthony Black and Jordan Walsh, two freshmen, a ton. Nick Smith was kind of in and out of the lineup, their highest ranked recruit. This year, they went heavy portal. They brought in a couple solid freshmen that are probably going to back up those guys. But Caleb Battle from Temple, I think L. Ellis is going to be like rejuvenated and freed out of that Louisville dumpster fire that he was in last year. Tremont Mark coming from Houston, I think is a great addition. And then the big one is Trevon Brazile, actually a former Mizzou Tiger himself, transferred to Arkansas, tore his ACL last December, but he's that stretch five dunker athlete, like NBA caliber, big, mobile, that just gives them that extra degree that they didn't have last year. And you add that to the improved, more experienced guard play that I think they've gotten. I think they'll be a lot more consistent this year, and that portends a potential run at the SEC title. So that 8 to 1, I think, is worth a look in the SEC.
This roster is stacked. And what does Musselman do? And I know this is regular season champs, right? This isn't even postseason, so maybe that's why they're not getting as much respect. But what does Arkansas do when they get into the tournament every year? They go to the Sweet 16. I feel like with Bus, this team wins when it matters. Yeah. Maybe we'll see them win when it matters in the regular season this year. And I'll tell you what, you brought up a couple guys who, they're leaving. Ricky Council, Anthony Black, Nick Smith. Those are really good basketball players. But something just felt off about that team last year. And I know a lot of these guys were hurt in and out of the lineup. They had so much talent last season for them not to be, one of the best teams all year. And I know they did produce in the tournament like they do every single year. You got to tip your cap to Muss. But this could be the season where in the regular season, we finally get Arkansas, leading the SEC. I don't hate it one bit. I think there's great value at the +8 hundo. They got guys like Khalif Battle, who I think is one of the best players in the country, coming in from Temple. L. Ellis, you mentioned, he's going to be feeling free, like he just got out of freaking prison, leaving Louisville and going to a real legitimate school here that's very well coached. He's going to ball out this season. I'm so with you with this team. +800 is a joke.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're giving them that much value.
Yeah. You could just throw a zone at them last year and you had a coin flip chance of beating them because they were young. They couldn't shoot. They just didn't know what to do against it. This year, they've got guys that have been around the block that can shoot a little bit more. They're not like suddenly going to rein in 15 threes a game, but they can keep you honest. And that's really what you need. And I am surprised that they're down there at 8-1.
It's kind of scaring me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I've seen this in the national markets too. I think a couple other teams benefit from Kentucky being so hyped, because I don't think Kentucky is as good as they're being depicted here. A top 2 team in the SEC. They're like a top 5 team in national odds. I think that's crazy, given what they have, their lack of big men, their lack of healthy, eligible big men. So I think that sort of filters down to the rest of the teams and creates a little bit of value. Like if Mississippi State was fully healthy, if I knew Tolo Smith was actually going to return from his foot injury, I think their defense gives them a shot. Florida, I think, is going to be a lot better this year. Even Auburn at 12. Like, I just think Kentucky's hype has helped create a little more value throughout the rest of the SEC.
Shocker. People are back in Kentucky once again this year after they haven't done squat in a couple of years. Is it safe to say that Calipari's on the hot seat? Will that guy ever be on the hot seat with what he's done at that program? I don't even know how this works with this guy, because personally, I think he should start to get some of this hate for what this team's done over the last couple of years. Maybe not hate, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that there was no tournament in 2020 and they were pretty good, but 4 straight years with no Sweet 16 is like unheard of for Kentucky. That is unacceptable for what he's making, for the hype they get, the fan base that they have. I listened to, I think it was the Field of 68 After Dark last night, and they said his buyout is $33 million after this year. And they made a good point about how, you know, their football coach, Mark Stoops, is talking about, we need more NIL money if you want to compete. So they're calling all these donors for NIL money. Are they going to call them to get rid of Calipari and hire a new coach? That's the question. But I think whether he's on the actual fireable hot seat, he's on the fan hot seat. He's going to get a lot
100%.
of slack. Like if they're not able to get that second weekend, if they don't look as sharp as they maybe should this year, just given some of the young talent that they have, people are getting impatient with him in that fan base. And like you said, I think justifiably so, given their lack of success compared to their resources.
100%. I'm with you. I think, again, it's just more hoopla and people are gassing up Kentucky for no reason. I mean, they do have a great recruiting class coming in this year, but we need to see them perform at least decently once out of the last 5 years, right? And yeah, the COVID year kind of screwed them, but it is what it is. And now Kentucky's plus 400 when they probably should be flipped with Arkansas on those odds, in my opinion. W's. 2 questions before you go, because I know you need to dip soon. Is there a dark horse on this board that you wanted to talk about or gas up a little bit? I know you mentioned your school, Mizzou, who could count. I know you mentioned Arkansas plus 800, but is there somebody on the bottom of this list who you're at least a little high on this season?
Yeah, I think Ole Miss is a team a little higher on, just with Chris Beard coming in there. And I think he creates a pretty stable floor for a program. Like, he's never been bad as a coach. You go back to his days at Little Rock, he elevated that program to way, way better than it's ever been. So I think that's, maybe a team worth looking at as a bet on early in the season. And then look, we talked scrimmage and charity exhibition results. If those are to be believed, Georgia is massively undervalued, because they whooped Eastern Kentucky, who's the favorite in the ASUN. They were up 24 at halftime, ended up winning by 17. And then they beat, I forget who else it was in like an actual secret scrimmage. The score came out, but not the box score. And it was like a pretty impressive power conference win. And it's a, pretty changed over roster. Year 2 of Mike White, he brought in a bunch of transfers this offseason. That's kind of the theme with the SEC, is they really hit the portal hard. I think Georgia could be a little undervalued given some of the pieces that they brought in, and just some of these early returns look like, okay, maybe the pieces have come together faster for them than a lot of these other portal teams. So maybe Georgia, I don't think they're going to win the league. I don't think you should bet them 100-1. But as like a bet on team early in the year, I think they start off against Oregon in the Hall of Fame Classic on opening day. Oregon's got some injury issues coming into the year. Georgia could steal one there and really surprise some people and maybe turn heads right on opening day of college basketball season.
Sheesh. I mean, I'm in on Georgia, and especially Ole Miss with Chris Beard there now. I mean, they're bringing in Brandon Murray from Georgetown, a guy who I really enjoyed watching at times. And Musa Cisse, the Oklahoma State transfer. I mean, this guy, when he's healthy, he can do stuff, and he's like one of the tallest guys in the entire nation.
Yeah,
don't sleep on Musa Cisse if he can stay healthy.
And he needs one of those 2-time waivers because he's been at Memphis and Oklahoma State. But I always love citing the stat. I think he's been on 3 teams, 2 at Memphis and 1 at Oklahoma State, or maybe the other way around. But they've all been top 10 or 15 KenPom defenses, and I think he's just like that kind of anchor. Yeah. And if you're going to give me that with Chris Beard and Ole Miss, you're going to tell me they're a top 15 defense, all the offense has to be as decent for that team to be tourney caliber. So yeah, another team definitely worth looking at.
You mentioned, maybe back in Georgia on night one. Is there one play that you can't stop thinking about on opening night next week, Jim, that you need to let the people know about? Are you keeping these plays to yourself right now? I don't want you to expose your winners, but if you have one for the people, we'd love it.
Well, no, no lines out yet, and I'm very strict to a number. That's like, any game I could be on either side based on how wide ranging the number is. One game that I think is going to be just a complete blowout is Tennessee over Tennessee Tech, staying in the SEC here. We saw how good Tennessee looked. The offense looked revitalized against Michigan State. Dalton Connect, Jordan Gainey, giving them a little bit more juice on that end. They should get Vescovy back from his personal absence. And then Tennessee Tech is not in good shape this year. Their only real point guard is coming off an ACL tear and is probably not going to be ready. They lost to NAIA Tennessee Southern in this lead up to the season this year. That kind of raised a red flag for me. Add that to how good Tennessee looks, and just Tennessee typically overwhelms these lower conference teams with athleticism and their defense, and you can't score. The question is, can the Vols score enough to cover that game? And I think they can. I think the offense is good enough this year. What we saw in that charity scrimmage or charity exhibition, I think that's a complete smashing. So anything like 30 or under, I'll probably be on the Vols.
I was going to say, if it's at 30, you're in. Minus
yeah,
30.
Ken Palm's got a 28. I could see it getting stretched out. That's one also, just given the results I mentioned with Tennessee and Tennessee Tech, I could see that one getting bet pretty quickly by people in the market. So it's about a move and groove. So we need to get that in as soon as the lines come out. And you mentioned Dalton Newt. I mean, I am so excited to see this kid play in a legitimate conference. I think he's legit. Let's see it happen, right? Coming over from Northern Colorado. This kid could be, the piece that Tennessee's been missing. And you mentioned Ziegler and Vescovy. Is Ziegler going to be back from his ACL right off the rip, or is he going to miss a little bit of time? What's going on with him? From what I hear, he's basically ready, but Barnes wants to take it really slow because it was, I think, late February that he tore it. So we're looking at, basically 9 months. And as a guy who tore his ACL last summer, and it took me about 12 months to get back on the basketball court. Look, I'm older and I have less doctor resources than these guys, but that's pretty quick. So maybe he'll play a little bit. I think Barnes kind of wants to work him back in. Especially, you look at that schedule, they've got Wisconsin on Friday of next week. That's the one they probably got circled more so than Tennessee Tech.
100%. Either way, though, Tennessee should take care of Tennessee Tech in that first game. We'll be looking for that spread to drop, Jim, and definitely looking to target that. We'll let you go. We really appreciate you having you on here, Jim. Do you want to plug anything? What have you been working on? Where can people find you?
Sure do. Yeah. The Almanac. If anybody is listening to this and like, I want to know a little more about college hoops coming into the year. The College Basketball Almanac. I worked on that with my fellow 3-man weave guys, the fellows at Heat Check and Field of 68. All 362 teams previewed in detail. We talked to every coach, got some quotes in there, got a little bit of insight from behind the scenes. We've got every team's returning rotation, projected starters from the staff. You don't find that anywhere else. Even, I respect the heck out of Blue Ribbon, but the roster table is something that's really unique to the Almanac. So if anybody's interested in diving more into college hoops as it's coming up in a couple of days here, the website is cbbalmanac.com. You can buy it there. You'll be able to get a login, and it's a pretty easy navigation site rather than a big PDF like we did last year.
I love what you guys did this year. This is awesome. So much better this year, doing the website where it just breaks down in the conferences. And chat, I've been using this for the last couple of years, and I'll tell you right now, he's not kidding. This is by far the best resource to get caught up before the college basketball season starts. There's no better time to buy it, and it's cheap. It's like $20 if you want to know what the hell's going on. Especially, Jim, this year, we've never seen more transfers in our entire life. 20% of D1 college basketball players transferred this year. Yeah, all these guys are on new teams. You need the Almanac this season. We put the link in chat right here. It's only $20 chat. You guys want to sound as smart as Jim does? Go check out the Almanac. I promise it'll be worth it.
All right. The one you find one nugget in there that helps you win one $20 bet, boom, paid for itself.
Yeah, that's all. You guys that's a value play. $20, I'm in. Awesome. Jim, we'll get you on here again next year, my man. Really appreciate you having you on here. One of the smartest college basketball minds out there. Good luck this season, and good luck to your Mizzou Tigers. All right.
Appreciate it, Krabs. Let's find some winners, baby. College basketball season's here.
Yeah. Why not us? W's based. Love it. Jim is a fucking goat. One of the smartest, sharpest guys in CBB. Sure, Javon. What's up, my man? How we doing?
Back. Locked.
2 words. Back.
Yeah.
W's. What do you think about the almanac?
I mean, dude, I've been tapping in a little bit. Dude absolutely knows his stuff. Everybody put that together. Hell of a job. That's like the thing with college basketball that people don't realize, I guess you could say. It's more, you got to know a lot of personnel, especially with the transfer portal now. So when you get a baseline of that coming into the season, that's a massive help.
Could be the diff.
Could be.
Could be the diff. Sure. Javon, we just talked some SEC. I don't know if you had a chance to peep that. I know you're probably balls deep in the NFL lab, but any comments on the SEC and college basketball starting up in 6 days?
Yeah, I mean, I have the same thoughts as everybody else. I mean, Dalton is going to be crazy for Tennessee, and I'm super excited to see if they can actually use him to have a little more dynamic of an offense that they've had in the last couple of years. So, I mean, they're certainly the team to watch. Of course, they are the favorite, coming back with a lot of depth. But I wouldn't sleep on Florida, to be honest with you. And we'll go a little deeper into that, I guess, maybe in the coming days whenever we have a chance. But Florida's a team that I'm watching coming back this year.
Huh. Okay. Little Florida love. Let's see what the heck they got going on. Who do they have come in this season?
They have one of the craziest lineups you'll ever see. Because
they got Zion Poole.
Yeah, they got Zion. I'm not going to say it, but just look at their team photo, and it is very different from what you will see across a lot of college basketball.
Kind of scared to say what I'm thinking right now. I'm just going to look up a picture. Excuse me. Let me
very fundamental team. Very fundamental basketball team.
Was this the team we saw getting off the bus in Buffalo when we were joking about them having to be a hockey team?
It might have been. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Some fundamentals, some free throws. Love it. Although Zion Poole, and I say he's a freaking dog, and he's going to be probably the best scorer on this team coming over from UC Riverside. I don't know if you guys remember him last season, but this kid is a bucket. I think he ended up putting up over 1,000 points out there. Beast. Don't sleep on Zion Poole. Don't sleep on Riley Cougs. Don't sleep on Will Richards, right? Who else they got on this team coming in?
I mean, they have a lot of guys. Like, the thing that they were missing last year is when Castleton was getting swarmed and turning the ball over and having to do everything. They had like the couple games from like Will Richard and Riley Kugel, but nobody was really like a consistent scoring option. I mean, hopefully Zion can be that guy. But I think in the backcourt, they have a lot more of that this season, a lot more scoring power. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't think they're going to be, the Tennessees and Kentuckys of this year, but kind of one of those teams that maybe hangs around the edge of being ranked for a lot of the year and sneaks in as a middle seed in the tournament. Can't even talk.
Sure. We got Micah Handligan. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the Marshall Center from last year coming over, the 7'1" behemoth right in the middle there, number 3. He's probably going to start right off the rip. Walter Clayton's probably going to start right off the rip, the transfer from Iona. I'm assuming Tyrese Samuel, the Seton Hall kid's probably going to start right off the rip too. And we're going to see Zion Poole maybe coming off the bench as a 6th man, but I'm telling you right now, he's going to end up being the best player on this team down the stretch. The graduate transfer from UC Riverside. This kid can score like no other.
Yeah.
Okay. W's. Don't sleep on Florida. It looks like Todd Golden's got some of his guys in here for your team.
Yeah, some could say.
Okay. He's suspended right now. Poole. Oh no. Putin loves prize picks. Let me know. Let's go with that. Is Zion about to miss some time? Let me know. Okay. Poole and Harley played in the scrimmage. Yeah, maybe something's going on there. That's no bueno. All right. Javon, I think we got to pivot to talk about some plays for today.
Yeah, we do. We do.
You're down? Where do you want to start?
I'll start on the ice.
Start on the ice? Okay.
Yeah, might as well.
Get some odds up. Yeah, get it started. I got to get my iPad. Get it started up.
I don't have too much today on the ice. I don't have a full slate of stuff, but the one that I am going to is the Yotes ML against the Ducks tonight, which the Ducks, this is kind of 2 days ago we had Jonas Johansson for the Lightning come back to play the Kraken at home after back-to-back shutouts. I said party's over. Party was over. Yesterday, we had statistically the best goalie in the league, Joseph Wall, for the Leafs, come in and finally play good offense in the Kings at home where everybody loved the Leafs. I said party's over. Party's over. The Ducks just came in from a 4-0 road trip, which I can't even tell you the last time the Ducks have done that. It has to be upwards of a decade or somewhere close to there. Which I'm a Ducks fan this year. I think just like everybody else, I see this team and I think they're going to be scrappy. They're going to be disgusting to play. But they just had a 4-0 road trip where, let's just say, a lot of the circumstances fell in their favor between backup goalies, a lot of fluke endings to games. Now they're coming back home after that 4-0 road trip against the Coyotes, who they're coming off a big win of their own, scoring, I think, 8 goals in their last game. I think it continues, and I think this Ducks team is in a little bit of trouble tonight, which, again, I think they're going to be very pesky for the rest of the season, but I don't think this is the spot for them coming back home after that immaculate road trip, the first time they've done that in God knows how long. So I'm taking the Yotes today, and I think they control this game, especially defensively. I don't know if their offense for the Ducks is going to have much of a pulse today.
You're going with the damn Yotes, huh? Okay.
The Yotes.
Sure. What else? Only 4 games today. You got any other plays you like?
Yeah, the ones that I love too much, I do think we get maybe a little sneak Flyers appearance. I haven't dove fully into that game, but they're a team that I'm watching out for. I see this total down 5.5 in the Stars Flames game. I was looking at that under as well, but I don't like playing 5.5 unders. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a goal fest in Colorado, with a lot of those coming from the Blues. I mean, that's what I lean in the rest of the games, but I really like the Coyotes. That's my one hockey play of the day, one puck play.
Coyotes on the road, moving from -115 to -130. Javon, how public are these pups? I'm happy to look right now.
Probably a little public, but it's a little deceiving. The Coyotes are they're a fun team that people like to back at points, and the Ducks haven't really got there yet, but they're a comparable team, I guess, in terms of public backing. It's like the Yotes probably a little public. I haven't looked at the splits, but the Ducks are coming off of a 4-0 road trip, so I'm gladly fading them no matter what the splits say.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a little public, but definitely kind of sharp. I mean, at least some big bets coming in on the Coyotes here. 64% of bets, but almost 80% of handle with that up arrow on the ML for Coyotes. And then if you look at the splits for the -1.5, which definitely way less people are taking, but 32% of bets, 68% of handle on the Coyotes -1.5. That might be the sharpest play on the NHL slate just by looking at the splits.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely my favorite play on the board. And then I guess second favorite play would have to be the over 6.5 in the Avs Blues game, which somebody mentioned it in chat too. And both teams off of being shut out, which usually when you have just one team, it's kind of a system play to back them to score in those games. But now you have both teams in a game where, I think the Blues are going to be pretty sneaky in this game too. And I don't think they're going to stay in this game with their defense. It's going to have to be with them scoring goals here. So I like that game to soar over tonight. Maybe a little sneaky Blues ML appearance, but the over, it's kind of a mandatory play situationally.
Sure. Coming off a shutout for both squads, we've got St. Louis 1-6 to the over, and we've got Colorado 3-5 to the over. So some under wagons here early on, coming off of not scoring. And then we've got, St. Louis and Colorado here over 6.5, I believe is what it's at, Javon. The juice started way heavy on the under. It looks like it's starting to creep up a little bit, but that total, the number has not moved yet. It's still at 6.5.
100%. 100%.
Sure. Dubs. All right, let's keep moving and grooving. You want to pivot to MLB? You want to talk some college football? What do you want to do?
It's up to you. What do you have? What do you have on the college football board? I'm interested to hear some of your takes on these games. These games suck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really loving anything in Ball State and Bowling Green. I'll be honest with you. I know picks with D, you're just probably going to want to be on Ball State here. And that's probably where I would lean if you can still grab 5.5. That's probably my favorite play on the board right now. They've won 1 game in their last 5, and it was a nice little outright win against Central Michigan. And they've had, I believe, 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And Bowling Green, on the other hand, is coming off of 2 blowouts. One when they were an underdog, and one where they were -7.5 and they beat Akron 41-14. So picks with D just saying we suck. You guys know what to do. You always fade the team, the fan of a team's opinions. And we back Ball State today, 2-6, sitting at +5.5. That's probably the play on the gridiron tonight.
Yeah, if I had to make a play, gun to my head, it would probably be Ball State, but I have absolutely no interest in getting involved in that game, especially because it's a little bit of recency bias, but the underdogs in these midweek games, I know this is the first day of action yesterday was. The underdogs in these midweek games have been piss. So I'm not trying to catch the falling knife with a lot of these seemingly sharp underdogs just yet until we see them start cashing again. And with Moose
I feel like they're due. I feel like the sharp dogs are due.
They are 100%. I need to see one through the hoop though before I jump in, especially with a game that I'm not really running to the counter to place anyway.
Damn, you're not sprinting to the counter to bet Kent State Akron. You were both 1-7 in this game, or Ball State Bowling Green.
Holy Moose piss game, dude. Moose piss game.
Yeah.
Both
terrible.
Both of them.
Okay. Yeah, Kent State and Akron. I mean, they are both 1-7. Both have not won a game in forever. I'm trying to see what Akron's got going on right now and who they've still got at QB. Is it still Taj Bullock, the old Hokie? I hope for their sake it's not, man, but it might be. Is it still Taj? I think it is. Yeah, he's no bueno. The Akron starter. Okay. It's probably going to be Taj, is what it's looking like. I mean, he did play in that last game, though, and he only had one carry, though. Is he hurt?
Could be.
What's going on with this? Chats. Who knows who's getting the starting reps here? Is it Jeff Undercuffer Jr.? He's the number 2 on their depth chart.
Undercuffer, man.
I mean, you've got to be kidding me, dude. What?
That's wild.
DJ Irons getting hurt killed that team. That's
100%.
That's who it was. It's not Jeff Undercuffler. Okay, what a name though. But yeah, it was DJ Irons. Are we going to see DJ?
It's Undercuffler now, it seems like, right?
Is it DJ?
It was DJ.
Irons?
DJ was their starter coming into this season. He's a dog, but I haven't seen anything saying he's back.
I'm looking.
Undercuffer is starting.
Looks like
he tore his ACL. He's done.
Yeah. Undercuffler played nearly every snap in the loss to Bowling Green. Taj Bullock started a lot the first 2 games since Irons was ruled out for the season with a torn ACL, and the Zips headed into a bye week. Okay. It's probably going to be Undercuffler. Wow. Okay. Either way, I mean, they're toast. I would want to be back in Undercuffler. B-Camp's confirming that in chat. I mean, what a name. What the?
Yeah.
B-Camp, are you back in Undercuffler today, man? Let us know. Okay.
I mean, if we have Undercuffler and a situation on the other side of Kent State where they're going to do quarterback by committee, these are just 2 offenses that I can absolutely not buy into today.
Maybe under.
It just seems like the under. It almost makes too much sense, but these 2 teams are not putting up points.
Yeah, and if I look at the splits really quick, it's looking like the under is probably the sure play. 43% of bets, 56% of handle. So some bigger bets coming in on that under. And I'd say probably Kent State splits are a little sharp, but nothing crazy there. I think we moved to MLBs. I think our best play on the gridiron would probably be Ball State's, and then a close second would be that Kent State Akron under. Okay.
Yeah.
Dubs, let's move to MLB. We got about 15 minutes on here, chats. We're going to do the squad ride as well, but definitely have to talk about the Rangers and the Snakes. Man, the Snakes were not the play last night. I'll tell you that much. That was one of the worst bets I've ever placed in my entire fucking life. The Snakes last night. God damn it. 10-0 they go down. Yeah, sure. That was me last night. That was me this morning. Brutal. Yeah, that's how every Diamondbacks better feels. Okay, we feel like bozos. But you know what? With their backs against the wall, Javon, is this series over? Or are you going back to the Snakes today? What are you thinking?
I don't know, because we're talking about both of these pitchers, seeing these teams again, obviously a rematch from game 1 with Eovaldi and Gallen. Eovaldi was definitely the pitcher that I would say you watched that game and you were quite a bit less impressed by how he pitched in certain spots there. But the one that I think has the bigger advantage, of the lineup that I think has the bigger advantage of seeing this team or seeing these pitchers multiple times, has got to be the Rangers against Zach Gallen, not just because they're seeing the ball much better at a more consistent rate, but Gallen's a guy that's going to give you plenty of fastballs. It's not like his arsenal is very diversified to the point of he's not going to be able to switch it up as much as Eovaldi. We'll say that, put it in simple terms. So I think seeing him again it's going to be a little trouble for Gallen to get through. I think this is a game that probably gets decided by the bullpens. I think both of these pitchers give up a couple runs. So I really don't want to go near fading the Rangers right now in this series, to be honest with you. I do have a hard time believing that it's going to be over in 5, but the way that these matchups line up, I don't know if I can get myself to the counter with anything else.
It's over. The Rangers are road dogs. Scariest thing in sports. Rays #2. Jen saying in chat
because they lost to the Rangers. It's literally the Rays and the Brewers in the AL and NL just always lose to the eventual champions. That happens all the time.
Man, what do you think about that Evaldi 1.5 walk square? That I'm thinking maybe he walks 2 people today.
That could be interesting. I have nothing against
if you've gotten a chance to peep that, but that's looking pretty good to me. That Evaldi more than 1.5 walks.
I was looking through some of the not just squares but props in the books and everything. I mean, everything looks significantly juiced for Gallen, which was a little surprising to me. Like going through, even if you look at walks, which Zach Gallen, he's not a guy that's going to loosen up control-wise very much. Saw it through the regular season. It's a little different in the playoffs, of course. He's had his spots, but minus 200 to walk 2 guys. Look at the earned runs, which he's at home, where he gets a lot more line respect, just period. 2.5 earned runs, minus 135 to the over, minus 170 to get up the first run, which he should be favored, but that's a significant move. That's almost like Christian Javier was against the Rangers in the ALCS when he took that same thing. So it's making me think the Rangers are going to jump on him pretty early. And then you look at all the Rangers squares on PP. I mean, that Josh Jung basis is very, very new. And regardless of how well he's seeing the ball, when they put up some new guys against Zach Gallen, that definitely raises a bit of an eyebrow. I'll say that. And I guess you look in the book too. Somebody mentioned a Ketel Marte boost. If he ain't doing it, I don't know who's doing it for the D-backs. Enough.
Damn, bro. Game. They've got a Ketel Marte boost?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
There are 2 bases. Which tough.
Okay. You know what else they have up here?
What do they have?
They got a freaking Jankowski half a strikeout. Javon, this guy hasn't struck out. I mean, he hasn't struck out in a month.
Well, he hasn't been playing. He hasn't been playing.
Yeah, but he's been playing enough. He played he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games this postseason, hasn't struck out. He didn't strike out.
How many at-bats does he have in those, though? Because he's pinch hitting in a couple of those.
A couple of them are pinch hits.
Yeah, it's not like he's getting 3 or 4 at-bats in these games.
No, yeah, he's only got 6 at-bats in the postseason.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you look back, he hasn't had a strikeout really since September 16th is when he's had his last strikeout. I mean, still, that being up is pretty weird to me. Bro hasn't played in a month, people are saying in chat.
I think it's just a Zach Gallen tax.
You think it's just Zach Gallen tax? I'm looking at what he's done against Zach Gallen. He is 3 for 9 with 2 strikeouts against Zach Gallen in his career.
Yeah, it's just a Zach Gallen's on the mound. He is the replacement hitter for Adolis, bottom of the lineup guy. They just put that up, I think, just because.
We get to talk about Perdomo being up again. I mean, is that just a free square every night? Like, what is? Nobody's talking about Perdomo. Everyone always talks about Ketel Marte. How about Perdomo? He's also on a just crazy bender of a hit streak. It's got to be over 10 games at this point.
Could be. He's absolutely cracked out. Absolutely cracked out.
Yeah, dude. He really is.
That's definitely a guy I want to go nowhere near fading right now, to be honest with
you. I've been trying to fade him, and I have not been able to make any sort of coins.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. I will not be doing that.
So you're thinking by looking at the prize picks board, it's telling you Rangers are probably the look here?
It's telling me Rangers. Definitely looking at all the props boards, it's telling me not only that Zach Gallen is going to have a little bit of trouble, but Josh Jung is probably my hitter for this game. Not just because he's up on prize picks, but I'm looking across the board here. I don't think I've seen him this low for a lot of these odds in quite some time. And obviously he's been getting better throughout the postseason, I think. So he hasn't been quite as hot or quite as high point as he is right now. But I'm buying tonight against Zach Gallen. So that's my guy.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like the line has moved maybe 5 cents towards the Rangers since this line opened, Javon. I think they opened up minus 105 in this spot, and it moved back to pretty much minus 110 both ways on those books. And yeah, okay, maybe Josh Jung is going to do some damage today and carry that momentum from yesterday. Okay. All right. Chat, we got about 9 minutes. We do have to craft up a little squad ride soon. I think our play on the diamonds, is it the Rangers on the ML? Is that the vibe I'm getting here, folks? Is it the over and the Rangers ML?
Yeah, it just might be the Rangers.
Krabs put a rack on Jung under. Yeah, people forget I did that. Yep. I'm not happy about that at all. I put a rack on Jung under, and I paired it with, what did I pair it with? Sure, yeah, that should work, Goots. I paired it with Ketel Marte more than half a run, which has been taken off the board. So, Goots, can we click on this game right in front of you and see what his odds are to score a run? Because I'm very curious. Because they put that up again earlier today when he hasn't scored a run in forever. And Ketel Marte.
Oh, well, he's minus 140 to not score a run.
To not score a run? I bet. Yeah. So that might just be the worst entry ever placed on Earth.
You placed that today?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I did place that today. Yeah. You hate that, don't you?
Yes.
Well,
I'm literally taking the opposite of both of those, or I would be taking the opposite of Ketel if I was given the option at this point.
Ketel hasn't even scored in like a month.
Yeah, but he's not going to tonight, it seems like. 2 total base boosts.
Looking at these odds, god damn.
I don't even care about the odds, but the boost, I'm fading. Because, I mean, Corbin Carroll, I bet. Should be a good look.
Yeah. Rangers are winning the series, right? Bet Rangers, keep doubling down if they lose, D-Jaws is saying. Yeah, that should work. What about Gabriel Moreno?
You know that Snakes Alive paper is being posted tonight.
Dude, I hope so.
It's being posted.
I hope it is. I don't want the series to end yet.
I don't either, but
I don't want it to end yet.
That's my only narrative for this game. That picture is being posted.
Snakes Alive.
That'd be narrative.
Sure.
That'd be
sure.
narrative.
All right, chat. Let's craft up a squad ride winner. I don't think we've hit a squad ride in about 7 years. So it's about that time to change this narrative because we're 148, 107, and 4. And Goots, I hope that record's right because I just read it out from your little outline here. That's looking pretty right to me, though. And I know we've had a couple losses recently. We got to bounce back. And yet, Chiote, I wish we had the Kansas City Royals to help us out here. We don't. But I think we probably start with college football, maybe putting in Ball State in that Kent State Akron under.
I'd be down a bit at Ball State.
Okay. Do you want to put in the Kent State Akron under or no?
I'm good. Rather not double up in college football.
Okay. Damn, your TCU Horned Frogs play tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to be talking plenty about that.
Oh, we will. We will.
Okay. We can go with your hockey play.
We can put
Arizona ML.
We kind of need them. Yeah. Coyotes ML and the Blues Avs over 6.5.
After the shutouts, right?
Yep. Dueling shutouts.
I'm good with that. Okay. And then let's take a peep over to the professional gentlemen playing basketball tonight. It's like there's plenty of games. The Wizards play today, and that totals up to 238. And they're playing Atlanta, and those games always go over. I wouldn't mind backing that. And the Wizards suck.
You taking a peep at the Rockets?
I can. I'm looking up the splits right now for NBA.
Yeah, let me know if they're sharp. But I see one thing, and I see the Rockets laying 2.5 at home.
Oof.
This could be the Dillon Brooks 30-point game, the first of 2.
This could be the 30-piece. I mean, it's not like Charlotte's really good.
No.
And they're coming off of 2 losses as well, where they got kind of spanked. You like the Rockets today, though?
I do.
No injuries either in this game? Okay. Looks like Houston is maybe – yeah, they're not even really public on the ML.
I mean, yeah, probably not going to be. I don't know who wants to lay 2.5 at the
Splits
Pistons
are pretty
or Rockets, no matter who they're playing.
I mean, they got 47% of bets and 58% of handle on the minus 2.5 for Houston. So I guess they are maybe a little public, but Jesus, I can't even speak. Maybe they're a little bit public. I mean, I also like that Wizards over 238.5 against Atlanta. This game's sore, and those splits look good too. 37% of bets, 74% of handle on that over on DraftKings.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
can put those plays in there.
You can auto play pretty much any Wizards over at this point until they don't.
Yeah. And it's not like Trae Young has really been, balling either. I'm sure he's going to be looking to put up another 40 piece here. Sure.
Could be the game.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I'm in. I think we go with Houston -2.5. And we go with the Wizards and Atlanta over 238.5.
In.
Chat, 5 plays, 5 winners. You got less than 5 minutes to get your votes in. We're going Ball State +5.5. We're going Arizona ML on the ice, not on the Diamonds. We should probably put NHL next to it maybe, but probably too late there. That's okay. Guys, that's Arizona on the ice. That is not the Diamondbacks on the ML. That is the Yotes. Okay, so you can change your votes. Make sure you guys are listening up right now. Okay, if you're watching the show on mute, first of all, that's really weird. Second of all, listen up here. That is Arizona on the ice. That is not the D-backs. Okay? Chad, you can still change your vote if you want. So we got about 3 minutes. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Get your votes in. Hurry up. Go, go, go. And here's the game plan for the rest of the day. Okay? We've got these 5 votes we're voting on here for the squad rides. Obviously, auto-tailing that tonight. We've got the surgical stream starting up here in about 3 minutes. Trent still needs his NBA cake, as he said earlier on the Prize Picks World Championships craft sesh. He still wants his NBA cake. So come on, pitch an NBA play for Trent. And then about 45 minutes to an hour into the stream, we're going to spend the last hour finalizing the Prize Picks World Championship 6-piece, Javon. We need to lock it in, and we got to be feeling great about it. No excuses heading into the weekend.
Need it. Absolutely need it. This is where we lock in.
Yes, sir. Chat, get your votes in. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. No way. Clicks watch with no sounds.
Ooh, Boots and Warwick to watch the Froggies and Piss tomorrow, huh?
Ooh.
I bet.
Okay.
I bet.
How about the Froggies coming back from +3.5 to +3?
Yeah, there is a big narrative there. I'll tell you that. I don't know if you saw this, but Kansas State last week, or not last week because they're coming off a bye, but they were there's a video circulating because the lineman said, yeah, it feels great to make a team quit because the TCU guys were laughing when they were down 30 points. Let's just say I am quite certain that got back to Sonny Dykes.
Mm.
And the bye week was not very fun for the team.
They get in trouble a little bit?
Oh, yeah. They cleaned up. They had some late practices. A lot of things changed between then and now. So
anybody leave the team?
Nobody left the team, but there's guys who were locked into starting jobs that are not locked into starting jobs anymore.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing for TCU?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Okay. All right. It worries me a little bit, but definitely eyeing TCU in the points in this spot. Although it's not like Texas Tech has really come through and done anything either recently. They've been favorites their last 2 games, and they've lost outright. So
yeah.
Kind of 2 moose shit teams. Texas Tech was, one of the public favorites, I feel like, before the season to be good this season, and they've absolutely stunk. And then TCU was overvalued too after last year. I mean, it's just you can't be as good as they were last year. Everything went perfect. They had the QB, they had the weapons. They're all gone. They're all in the NFL. What can you do? And would you look at that, Javon?
Wow, Wizards over one.
Would you look at that? A nice Wizards over. Chat.
Shocked.
Are we locked into the NBA right now? The professional gentlemen? Playing some good basketball on the hardwoods? My goodness. Over 238.5, chat. We're going to need plenty of points from the Wizards and the Hawks. Good thing every time they play, there's a bazillion points. I'm in on this. W's. Chat, looking like they want a little NBA squad ride. Make sure you stick around. Okay, for the search stream, Trent needs his NBA plays. And stick around for the end as well, chat. We're going to craft up and finalize this Prize Picks World Championships NFL entry. All right, if you guys were wondering what we were doing earlier today, Javon, we've got some work to do. We got to finish up that stream and get this entry locked.
We do.
Okay?
We do.
W's, chats, stick around. All right, we'll catch you on here again, same time, same place tomorrow. We'll be seeing.
We will.
Peace.